video. Today I thought I would share with you all my top 10 tips when you are having a laparoscopy. So yeah, let's get into it. My first tip is peppermint tea. I suggest that you guys buy some peppermint tea before your surgery. Peppermint tea is meant to help with gas pains, and for those of you that don't know, sometimes, not every time, but sometimes after you've had this laparoscopy, you will get quite bad gas pains, typically in your shoulder. Basically that's because they sort of blow up your tummy when they're doing the surgery, and obviously they try and get as much out as possible before they sew you back up, but not all of it comes out. So you may not, but you may experience gas pain. Number 2 is heat. So I found, particularly with the gas pains, that heat really helped me cope with it, basically. It didn't get rid of it or anything, but it helped me deal with it better. And I found that an electric blanket was the best way for me to do it personally. Something to bear in mind is that if you are going into hospital and you're wanting to take a hot water bottle, in most hospitals the staff can't fill up hot water bottles for you. So if you've got someone with you, like a parent or a partner or friend or whoever it might be, they could fill it up. So unless you've got someone with you who can fill up a hot water bottle for you, there's no point in taking that. Instead, I suggest things like electric blankets. There are small devices that can release heat. You can buy sticky heat patches. There's things like that that you can buy and that you'll be able to use in hospital and out of hospital. My third tip isn't so much for recovery, it's more for pre-op, and that is take something to distract yourself with when you go to the hospital. A lot of the time there's waiting around. Unless you are fortunate and you're the first in, you'll be waiting, and for most people it's a really nerve-wracking time. So just having like your favourite series downloaded, a film downloaded, a book, whether you're FaceTiming loved ones, whatever it might be, take something with you that you know will help distract you, because you don't want to be sitting there in silence, like overthinking everything before the surgery. Yeah, it's not the one. My fourth tip is taking pads to the hospital. So I know that hospitals have pads there, but in my experience, they aren't very comfortable, they're not very good. They didn't, in my hospital anyway, they didn't even have the sticky bit that pads have. You literally just put it into your knickers and hope that it stays there. So I suggest bringing your own pads. This isn't like a necessity, but it's just something that I found out once I was there, and then I wish I'd taken some with me. My fifth tip is having someone available for the first couple of days after the surgery, especially if you're living in a house or somewhere where you have to manage stairs, because that can be a little troublesome. So just having someone who can help you up out of bed, who can help you down the stairs, things like that is helpful. I realise not everyone will be in a situation where they can do that, but if you are, I do suggest trying to arrange that, because it will make your life a lot easier. My sixth tip is, when you're recovering, I suggest putting a pillow underneath your knees. When I was lying down flat, I felt like my tummy was really sort of pulled tight, and it was so uncomfortable. And then we propped me up with pillows up my back and pillows underneath my knees, and that just meant that there was a bit less tension on my belly, and it gave me quite a lot of relief. So give it a go. It might not work for everyone, but I found it helpful, and I've done it in all 3 of my surgeries. My next tip is setting alarms for your meds. It is so easy to lose track of things, especially if you're doing it on your own and you're in pain, you're tired, you might still be affected from the anaesthesia. Like, just set alarms. Have a list of all the medication that you need to take and think about the timing that you need between each one, and then set alarms in accordance with that, because it means you don't forget any meds, you make sure that you don't take too much or too little. It just simplifies the process a bit. My next tip is for those of us who deal with weeing problems after surgery. By that I mean some people's bladder goes into retention, after the surgery, and it can vary in severity. So sometimes that means that you cannot physically wee. You might have to be catheterized if that happens. It happened to me after one of my surgeries. I had a catheter in for a couple of weeks, but it might also just mean that it's difficult to wee. So you can do it, but it is really difficult. And typically hospitals will only release you once you've had 3 wees. So I have a few suggestions for what you can try if you are struggling. During my first ever surgery, I was really struggling, and a nurse suggested to me to try and sit on the loo back to front. Now, I know that sounds weird, a little bit crazy, but it somehow helps. Like, I don't know if it's that it's relaxing different muscles or something, but if you can have someone there, if you can't do it yourself, have someone there to help you shuffle around and sit on the loo back to front, and it might help. Also, simple things like having a tap running. There's a lot of different things that you can try out to help yourself relax and help yourself wee, because it's not very pleasant when you're bursting and you just can't go. My next piece of advice is more specific, probably, to people who are having surgery in COVID times. Now, I'm sure the regulations are different hospital to hospital, trust to trust, but I know when I had my surgery during COVID, I wasn't allowed anyone with me. This piece of advice is probably more for loved ones rather than you, but loved ones can get the telephone number of the ward that you're on, and that just means that they can ring up for updates. And that's particularly helpful just after the surgery, because you might not be well enough or in the state to ring them up and tell them what's happened. So if they're worried, they can always talk to someone on your ward to find out what's going on. And my final piece of advice is this. Everyone recovers at a different rate. You might hear of some people that have taken a few days for recovery and then have been back to work or whatever it might be. Equally, you hear of people who it takes months for them to recover, and you might be somewhere in the middle. There's no set time by which you need to be recovered by, and every single body, every single surgery takes a different amount of time. So don't put pressure on yourself to be better by, 1 week post-op or 2 weeks post-op. That's not how it works, unfortunately. And be patient with your body. Don't push too soon, because that just backfires, and actually you'll just be healing for a longer amount of time. So be kind with your body, take time, go at a pace that is right for you. So yes, I hope that you guys found those tips helpful, and if you are having surgery soon, I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure you'll be fine, and I really hope that you get the answers or the relief that you are looking for. If you have any other tips that maybe I haven't thought of, comment them down below, share your advice, let's, help each other out. If you want more content like this and maybe some more light-hearted things, I'm thinking of maybe doing some fashion videos, something a bit different, as well as my usual endo, body image, advocacy kind of stuff. Then please do subscribe, like, comment. I still find this really weird to say because this is only the second YouTube video I've made, so I'm still like a little alien to this whole process. But yeah, I hope that you found this helpful, and I hope that you all have a lovely, lovely day. Lots of love. Mwah. Bye.